Unit 2 M1 by Adam Fletcher. Human resources includes resolving disputes such as arguments between staff, dealing with allegations of pay differential in gender, taking disciplinary procedures against staff who have broken conduct, monitoring internet usage for anything potentially threatening or harmful, helping teachers dealing with work-related stress, as it's the second most stressful job. Physical resources include the John Turner Building, the Thinking Space, science labs, the Quiet Room, swimming pool, like where rowers are helped to learn, cricket nets, classrooms, Taipan, Great Hall, and lecture theatre. These are all physical assets that people can use and that Shiplake owns. Technological assets are desktops and laptops, the e-textbook, the Google Drive, DT SketchUp, for example, when it helps DT students make better designs. Apps such as musical media makes learning more creative, and email used for interaction. These things that Shiplake has but does not physically have in the hands. M2. Recruitment. This is what Shiplake are looking for in a teacher. Employability means that they must have 2 references, and one must be your most recent employer. You must have a history with the applied job, extracurricular abilities, and recent business experience. Personal recruitment factors comes across well in an interview and observed lesson, good sense of humour, inspirational, healthy and young, professional and organised. Retention. This is what Shiplake can offer to keep a member of staff. Shiplake gives accommodation, increased wages, facilities, Bupa scheme insurance, discount fees on if they have a child, free lunch, CDP, which is continuing professional development, pension schemes, and a good working environment. These will all help keep teachers at Shiplake and reduce the fact of them moving on. Assessing the importance. Employability. A reference would be important as it would give you an idea of their performance in the past and if there had been any disciplinary problems, child protection or behavioural issues. This is particularly important when working a job with children. Personal. Lesson observation is important because it shows you if they're good enough for the job and what the lessons would be like. Retention. Wages will always be important to retention, as lots of people are motivated by intrinsic job satisfaction. This includes accommodation and also means to no mortgage and only a slight bit of rent. M3. Interpret a trading account. A trading account shows gross profit. This is profit before moving expenses. Examples of expenses are income tax, wages, electricity, oil and gas use, catering, and other stuff like that. Gross profit is less important than net profit, because net profit shows what you will actually receive from the revenue you have made. Gross profit gives a less accurate representation of the financial state of the firm, as it doesn't take into account expenses. Sales revenue minus total cost of sales equals net profit. Interpret a profit and loss account. If the costs are more than the gross profit of the company will make a loss, and this could possibly lead to bankruptcy, as the company will need to maintain quality to keep profit satisfying. Profit needs to be sufficient to secure our target of profit satisfying, and we need sufficient revenue to avoid bankruptcy. Interpret a balance sheet. The formula is a relationship between assets and liabilities that you own. It is important to have a balance sheet so that we can have a measure of what we own or owe. It could show us how much we need to pay to cover our debts and how much our assets are worth if they can cover our debts. Negative equity equals value of liabilities is greater than value of assets. And you don't want to be in negative equity, because that means you owe more than you own. Accounting ratios. Accounting ratios are a way of expressing the relationship between one accounting result and another, which is intended to provide a useful comparison. Accounting ratios assist in measuring the efficiency and profitability of a company based on its financial reports. An example of this is Shiplake being assessed on value for money based on its financial reports. M4. Why do costs need to be controlled to a budget? The biggest cost to a company is wages. There is normally a plan in place to make sure that the costs don't go over budget that is set in place. If a company, for example Shiplake, went over the cost limit, it would have to cut spending on equipment. This would mean that parents might get upset at the decline in quality, especially as Shiplake is a school that focuses on profit satisfying. Redundancies in the short term. will go up because of redundancy packages. This could upset the governors when costs go up. Why do costs need to be controlled? 3 reasons. It's bad to have less profit and profit satisficing. Worse is making a loss when you go past a break-even point. The worst case scenario is bankruptcy. This is where the school runs out of money and has to close down. Scenario: a fall in student numbers. If there was a fall in student numbers, this would equate to less demand for Shipley College. The profits at Shipley College would start to decline, which would mean the total revenue would fall. The costs would stay the same or at a similar level. Due to the firm being a profit-satisficing firm, they would try to keep the same amount of quality. Shipley could be pushed close to break-even point, which would mean the cost is the same value as the revenue. After this, the school would start making a loss, and in the worst case scenario, possibly go bankrupt and have to close down the school. If the school went bankrupt, the teachers that work for the school would be redundant and would have to find new jobs. Furthermore, the staff on site would lose their accommodations, and all the current pupils would have to find different schools to go to. And also, their grades are likely to be affected due to stress and disruption to learning. The school would have to sell their assets, such as the land, and it may be redeveloped as property.